Straight ahead on Law and Crime Daily. The murder of Nipsey Hussle.
March 31st, 2019, at about 3:20 in the afternoon, there was an explosion of violence.
Eric Ronald Holder Jr. shot and killed Nipsey Hussle.
Opening statements are presented in the trial of Eric Holder, plus a civil trial over a Florida dog who was shot and killed.
Is the image of her death burned in your memory forever?
Yes. Candy, the dog's owner, takes the stand. And Danielle Redlick's trial for the murder of her husband.
Michael Redlick bled out within 5 to 6 minutes. Is that correct?
That's what I understood.
Why this rebuttal witness testimony is so important to the case. But first,
a lot of Amber's story didn't add up, and the majority of the jury felt she was more the aggressor.
Hear from a Johnny Depp Amber Heard juror for the first time. Law and Crime Daily, covering court cases from coast to coast. Welcome everyone to Law and Crime Daily. I'm your host, Brian Buckmeyer. We're getting word from a juror for the first time since the monumental verdict was handed down in the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial. Millions of viewers watched the verdict handed down right here on Law and Crime Network and the gavel-to-gavel coverage of the trial before that. Actor Johnny Depp sued ex-wife Amber Heard for $50 million, arguing Heard defamed him in her 2018 Washington Post op-ed about domestic abuse. Heard fired back with a $100 million countersuit, doubling down on abuse claim. After weeks of testimony, including from both Depp and Heard, the jury awarded Depp $10 million in compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive damages. Heard also won part of her countersuit when she was awarded $2 million in compensatory damages and nothing for punitive damages over comments made by Depp's attorney, Adam Waldman. For the first time since the verdict, a juror gives his take on the trial in an exclusive interview with ABC News. The juror's face and voice were not shown, but instead quotes from his interview were outlined. The male juror said he felt Depp was more credible than Heard, and though the relationship may have been toxic on both ends, Heard's claims did not have enough support.
The crying, the facial expressions that she had, the staring at the jury, all of us were very uncomfortable. She would answer one question and she would be crying, and 2 seconds later she would turn ice cold. Some of us use the expression crocodile tears. He said, ultimately, what I think is truthful was that they were both abusive to each other. I don't think that makes either of them right or wrong, but to rise to the level of what she was claiming, there wasn't enough or any evidence that really supported what she was saying.
Later in the segment, Law and Crime founder Dan Abrams commented on the juror's interview, saying it appeared as though Heard's testimony was rehearsed.
I said there's a danger if she's looking at the jurors too much. That could be a problem. It can seem like she's acting, like it's over-rehearsed. Because, yes, a lawyer will tell a client, try and make sure you look over at the jury, make sure that you recognize them. But I thought she was doing it too much. Every question she was asked, she would pause, she would turn over to the jury, and she'd begin her answer. And it's clear that at least this juror felt that that was rehearsed.
Joining us today is Texas plaintiff attorney Katherine Lizardo and co-host Terry Austin. Katherine, let's start with you. When we're talking about this case, what was your reaction to Amber Heard's testimony and how that played out?
My reaction there is I said repeatedly that when I was watching her testify, the moment she stepped off the stand, I think she already lost the case because of her credibility factor. When she testified, we already saw Johnny Depp, and after he got off the stand, I mentioned that I think he already won the court of public opinion, and that's true in the social media. But Amber Heard, the way she testified did not come across as credible. And as what the juror was saying, she kept looking at them in a very unusual, weird way, very unnatural, the way you would speak. It's almost condescending at some point how she was just staring at them and telling them her story. So with this juror's comment, it shows that that didn't work out.
Now, Terry, you've been saying this since day one in terms of her inflection and the way that she's been acting. What did you think about her comments and Dan Abrams as well?
You know what? There are three scenarios to prepping a witness. You can be over-rehearsed, you can be under-prepped, or you can be well-prepared. This is definitely an example of where she was over-rehearsed, and I get it. She is an actor. It was probably hard for the lawyers to keep the acting from coming into the testimony, but it was way too much. And one of the other things that the attorneys should have done is listened to what she said when they were prepping her. If it did not sound credible, then they need to fix that. And here they allowed her to get on that stand, to be over-rehearsed, and to say things that the jury was never going to believe. All
right, it seems like the jury has spoken at least one in some anonymity. Thank you both. Still ahead on Law and Crime Daily, the plaintiff takes the stand in Florida's Candy the Dog civil trial. But first, closing arguments inch closer in the case of Danielle Redlick. Hear from a rebuttal witness after this.